Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be tackling a very common issue on the 07 through 14 GM trucks, SUVs. I see it really specifically in SUVs, especially Tahoes, but you know, Yukons as well. But it does seem to be a problem with pickups as well, and it's going to be the dashboards in the 07 to 14 Tahoe specifically. So I'm sure you've probably, if you've got one or there's somebody that's got one or had one or rode one, the dashboard's probably cracked. So you can see here, the main dash is cracked, as well as you got this like extension panel here. It's just extremely brittle. So as you're riding around, the stuff's just jiggling, and it just really puts a kind of bad looking feeling to it. Otherwise, nice vehicle. This vehicle is actually in really good condition inside and out, so I feel like it's a good investment to replace the dash. Just note, you know, if you replace these pieces, it's probably going to cost you over $1,000 probably. I get a deal on this stuff and it was still a lot of money. But so we've got the main dash here, and I can tell why these things don't really hold up. This is just really thin and kind of flimsy. But you gotta think as well, it's not actually the whole dashboard to replace. This is more or less just like the upper part of it. So it shouldn't really be too bad. And we have our extension panel as well. I'm not gonna pull it out, but we have the extension panel as well. Here is the part number for the filler panel. Here's the part number for the dashboard itself, and these are specific for the black ones. A lot of mechanics and people just do not like doing dash work. I don't know why. I like doing dash work. You know, I'm still working on a vehicle, which I enjoy, but you know, I'm not under the hood getting greasy, which ain't a big deal either. But you know, if I'm getting paid the same amount of money and I can be, you know, in a relatively clean interior and just, you know, taking my time taking stuff apart, it's not really hard to take dashes out and do interior work. It's just a lot of times it's really annoying because there's so many screws that sometimes it's hard to, you might miss one. It's hard to find all the screws, but and how it actually figure out how it actually comes out. So that's what we're gonna do. I hadn't took one out of this one before, but I'm gonna show you a little bit of tools that I generally use when doing interior work. I got my small impact for bolts and whatnot. I have a 1/4 inch impact for doing like usually dashes have a lot of torque bits, stuff like that. We're using that for that. We'll use this for, you know, anywhere we need to get into with a ratchet, save our wrists. Just you know, 1/4 inch drive sockets, a little bit of 3/8 drive sockets just in case. Then we have all our a whole set of all our Allens or Torx, because I'm not exactly sure what size we're gonna need. So got all that stuff. So first thing I'm gonna remove is I'm gonna go ahead and remove this filler panel. It's just held on by these clips in the front, but it's probably just gonna fall apart. If yours is like mine, it probably is. Don't be too worried about it. That slides under there. Yeah. So just remember that this slides under there, so I'm gonna have to pull our A-pillars off to put our new one in without breaking it. We'll see. But throw all these pieces out. So we need to unhook our sensor here. Twist out. Ow. Okay, so the next place I'm going to start is trying to get this trim panel off. Same way over here, get this trim panel off. So all this should just pop out. Definitely don't want to break this panel. disconnect the electrical connector on this switch right here. So I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Try to pop this panel loose. Okay. So the screws holding this panel in are T15s. T15 Torx. This panel should pop right out. Oh, sorry, this panel. Okay, we're gonna have to put the vehicle in gear and drop this down to first gear. There we go. It's actually a 7mm. That's how it's supposed to come out. It just pops loose, but it was pretty hard on this other side. There we go. Wow. Now there's 2 more screws on the bottom of the cluster, so we'll go ahead and pull that off. And I think I'm gonna be good with the shift lever in this down position. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the negative off the battery terminal. Okay, that's down the hook guard. So there's just one connector on the back side of this. Okay. Okay, so we got our trim panel off. Sorry I had to kill the camera, but he couldn't see anything and I had to focus on what I was doing. But anyway, so what I did was basically I took my plastic pry tool, well not this one but the other one, but stuck it up behind the edge of this, pried out. Then I had to take a long flathead screwdriver and just reach in here and push these tabs in. I had to do that all the way across the whole thing on all 8 tabs. Well, the bottom one's popped loose herself. The other 6 I had to do like that. But we got it out, didn't break it, so mission accomplished. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 8 screws holding all these panels in. Okay, so got 3 connectors on this lower panel. Of course, all this is going to be different depending on the options on your vehicle. It's got all the bells and whistles and all that. So, all right, that panel out. Our AC control panel. Okay. See screws down here on the bottom. 110 mil here holding on the parking brake release. Okay, that just kind of slid out of that holder there. So this should just kind of pop loose. Okay. Okay, so we dropped down our glove box here. We just pushed a tab in right here and it'll drop that box down. Had a piece of trim here. 4 clips, popped it right off. And there's 3 bolts there for the dash. And again, just like on the other side, we'll pop this end cap off the dash. And there's a few bolts over there. So gonna see if I can just take this panel out without pulling the whole airbag. Either way, we do what we gotta do. But like I said, we already removed the negative on our battery post. So anytime you're dealing anywhere near airbags or removing airbags, make sure you do that. So I'm gonna just go around here. So we have, there's 4 bolts all together. There's 2 in here and 2 in here. Let me pull this real quick. It'll get me a little more room. So that's why our vent wouldn't come loose either. Good thing I didn't force it. So I never want to force anything. All right, now we can get right to our bolts. Okay. So we got 2 more screws there. I'm gonna go ahead and pull these A pillars because, like I said, we're gonna have to pull those to get that filler panel in the front. So gotta see how this comes loose. 1 bolt. One bolt. Okay. So we got a tweeter in there. We'll have to disconnect. And again, be careful because there is an airbag in here. Okay. Also, this tube right here was stuck to this. I think that's a sunroof drain. So make sure you just pull it loose and then disconnect your tweeter. All right, so we got the driver's side pillar off. So like I was saying, so we've got, there's several bolts holding this cover in, but we've also got all these harnesses that run over and attach to the dash as well. I'm gonna try and keep whatever intact that I can, but for right now I'm gonna start disconnecting all these Alice got retainers holding it to the dashboard itself. Now I'll disconnect these because they run through the dashboard. I'm gonna temporarily zip tie these connectors up here. That we're trying to put our dash in. It don't get caught up. Okay. Tuck our wiring down in here. So I think at this point, so we've got all our wiring out of the way. We've got this antenna that sat here. We're just gonna sit it down in this defrost vent because that should stay there. We're sitting this sensor down in our defrost vent because that should stay in place. So I think at this point, we're ready to just start buzzing screws and bolts out and get this dashboard out. So let's go over all the screws that we see. Got 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 4, looks like 10mm screws, bolts up here. Up top, we got Okay, there's a 7, a 7. So a few 7s up here. You got a 7 here, 7 there, 7 there, 7. Got that. Got some 7s around here, 7s around here. Got a couple 7s here, 7, 7. Some there. Got a couple here on this side. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Got some in here. 2. Anyway, you get the point. Alright, so that's the gist of them. I'm going to go ahead and buzz all the ones loose that I can see. We'll see if it's loose, and if it's not, then we'll probably be something hidden. There's usually something hidden somewhere. So we'll do that and we'll get it yanked out. Okay guys, so it looks like I got everything out. So we're gonna start pulling on this thing and see if it'll release. Looks like it is. I'm gonna drop the steering wheel down on that side a little bit so we can have more room. Okay, kind of hang it up here around the steering column. So I'm gonna. So you got a bolt there, let's see, a bolt there, and one on the other side. I'm gonna take those loose and see if I can drop this column down to get me a little extra space here, just so I don't risk breaking the new one when I put it in. Okay, so I took loose the back 2 bolts for this as well to drop it even further. And now I think we finally got enough room to. All right, so we got it out. Like I said, I dropped the column down to get me more room. You may be able to swap them out with it up, but I didn't want to risk putting that new one in and getting in the bind and breaking it. So just dropping it down a little bit helped out a lot. So, all right, I'm gonna take a little break and then I'm gonna jump back into getting a new one put in. So it's gonna be the reverse, but we'll still just quickly kind of run you through it and get this thing buttoned up. Okay, so now we've got all the bolts holding the new skin on, or the dash cover, dash, whatever you want to call it on. Our big bolts and all our screws. I've double checked it a couple times to make sure we didn't miss anything. Next thing I'm going to do is just start putting everything back together. I'm going to start with the airbag assembly, and then we'll move on to the entertainment center and climate controls. That connector connected. Also, once you secure your wiring, just make sure that nothing's gonna be above, like, you know, this area here where your new piece is gonna lay. You don't want anything getting pinched, and just make sure there's nothing, you know, over these areas where those clips are gonna land. Okay, forgot we gotta put our sensor up in there. Okay, we're going to install the last piece of the puzzle right here is this piece of trim. And we just need to make sure we plug in our switches here. Okay. So yeah, nice and new, no cracks. Everything looks nice and OEM fresh like it should. And there you have it, guys. It's a pretty simple job. Basic hand tools. You've seen what I'll use, just ratchets and you know, some Torx and just basically some small size sockets. Just a little bit of time and some plastic prying tools for taking off this trim. You gotta be kind of gentle. I mean, you gotta think if the dash was this brittle, the rest of these trims is pretty brittle as well. So I was really peculiar, especially like this wood grain pieces. I didn't want the resource or replace any of that stuff. Some of the stuff might be discontinued, so you have to keep that in mind as well. So yeah, good day's work, and you can have this done. The parts, I don't know retail on them. I get a deal on them. I paid $900 for both pieces. I imagine retail on them might be I don't know, $1,100, $1,200, who knows. But and actually the place I bought them from, relatively local, they actually had them in stock. So yeah, that's it. Let me know what you thought about the video. If you got anything to add to it, or any comments or anything of that nature and questions, I'll make sure to get back to you. And we will see you on the next one. Appreciate you for watching.